Yeah, it's hard to change one nature, but it's good for me, so that's why I'm here. Okay, now, we keep with the same melody we have for a few days. I will try to change another one soon.
I like it. Is that your niece? That's Gustavo's daughter?
Yep. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah. So, 1 second, because I have too many things here. I don't know.
What did Devasha say he was doing? He has a project or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but he's not at his office. So normally he goes to
Oh,
office every day. He works, doing lighting for movies.
so
He
he's out
he
and
probably
about.
Yeah, he's probably like literally on top of a creek,
Yeah.
a movie somewhere, because in that sense, it's the
Mm.
only place he cannot be here. I have the music before you came in, and now don't see it. There it is. I found it. Ah, I see what happened. It just went behind ours. Okay, I got it. Sorry. Sleeping doesn't help. Um, okay, there. Yeah, we miss him, no?
Mm-hmm.
Devesha, if you hear us, we miss you. Right now we share. All right, finally.
Okay.
संसारदाभानलरिडलोक प्राणाय कारुण्या गण गणात्वं संसारदाभानलरिडलोक प्राणाय कारुण्या गण गणात्वं प्राप्तस्य कल्याण गुणनवास्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् प्राप्तस्य कल्याण गुणनवास्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् महाप्रभु कीर्तन नृत्यगीता वादित्रमाद्यान् मनसुरसेना महाप्रभु कीर्तन नृत्यगीता वादित्रमाद्यान् मनसुरसेना रोमाञ्चकं पाशुतरङ्गबाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् रोमाञ्चकं पाशुतरङ्गबाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहाराधन नित्यनाम शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमजनादो श्रीविग्रहाराधन नित्यनाम शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमजनादो युक्तस्य भक्ताश्च नियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् तस्य भक्ताश्च नियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसादो स्वादन्नतृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्गान् चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसादो स्वादन्नतृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्गान् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्ना श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्ना प्रतीक्षणा स्वरन्नलोरुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् प्रतीक्षणा स्वरणलोरुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् निकुञ्जयो रतिकेलिसिद्धै यायलिभिर्योक्तिरपेक्षणीया निकुञ्जयो रतिकेलिसिद्धै Shivaksharati Vallabhasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Sakshadharitvena Samasta Shastri Uktastatha Bhavyata Eva Sadhi Sakshadharitvena Samasta Shastri Uktastatha Bhavyata Eva Sadhi Kintu Prabhodya Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Kintu Prabhodya Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado Yasya Prasadat Nagati Kutopi Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado Yasya Prasadat Nagati Kutopi Jayam Stuvan Sasya Yashastri Sandhyam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Jayam Stuvan Sasya Yashastri Sandhyam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namaste Narasimhaya Praladala Dadaine Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha Shilatanka Nakalaye Ito Nisimha Barato Nisimpu Yato Yamitato Nisimpu Vaere Nisimpu Iraye Nisimpu Nisimhamadim Saranam Prapatye Davakara Kamalava Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
El bolito. Ahí vamos con el Srimad Bhagavatam. No, didn't happen. What happened? Sometimes it doesn't do it. I don't know why. Did it? Okay, then share. Can you see now? Oh, we need to read the whole chapter today. So we are in creation, chapter 4. Variation. Ah, no, we're doing the mantras first. Sorry, I'm sleepy. I told you.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I can't see me.
Oh, you want to try?
No, it's fine.
Oh, 1, 2. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's do this just without the other mantra. I can find it right now. So.
I should know it by heart, but
Yeah. Narayanam,
Kali Yuga.
I can say, I think, in Sanskrit, but I don't know the translation very well. Narayana Namaskritya, Naradaiva Narochaiva, Devin Sarasvatim Vyasan, Tato Daya Yudhirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, we need to glorify Vyasadeva, the goddess Sarasvati of learning, Narayana Rishi, the supreme human being, and Narayan, the supreme personality de Dios. Algo así.
Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 4, The Appearance of Sri Narada. Which is interesting because he doesn't appear until like the last verse.
Well, I said the scene, like Acharya with Mahabharata, he's doing the before Krishna, during Krishna, and then after Krishna. So it's good to set the scene so you have a context for which he appears and the reason he appears and so on and so forth.
Right.
And also remember, this is just an introduction, the whole Bhagavatam. Later on, everything will go into much details. So
Okay.
he appears.
Yes.
So I'll say no, sorry.
What? Okay. Vyasadeva said, on hearing Sutta Goswami speak thus, Shonaka Muni, who was the elderly, learned leader of all the rishis engaged in that prolonged sacrificial ceremony, congratulated Sutta Goswami by addressing him as follows. Shonaka said, O Sutta Goswami, you are the most fortunate and respected of all those who can speak and recite. Please relate the pious message of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is spoken by the great and powerful sage Sukadeva Goswami. In what period and at what place was this first begun, and why was this taken up? From where did Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas, the great sage, get the inspiration to compile this literature? His, Vyasadev's son, was a great devotee, an equibalanced monist, whose mind was always concentrated in monism. He was transcendental to the mundane activities, but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person. While Sri Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with cloth, although Sri Vyasadeva himself was not naked. But they had not done so when his son had passed. The sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified, and when looking at them made no distinction between male and female, but the sage made such distinctions. How was he, Srila Sukadeva, the son of Vyas, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapur, now Delhi, after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangala, appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded? How did it so happen that King Parikshit met this great sage, making it possible for this great transcendental essence of the Vedas, Bhagavatam, to be sung to him? He, Sukadeva Goswami, was accustomed to stay at the door of a householder only long enough for a cow to be milked, and he did this just to sanctify the residence. It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him. He was a great emperor and possessed all the opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of the Pandu dynasty. Why did he give up everything to sit down on the bank of the Ganges and fast until death? He was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength, and he possessed kingly opulences that were difficult to give up. Why did he want to give up everything, including his life? Those who are devoted to the cause of the personality of Godhead live only for the welfare, development, and happiness of others. They do not live for any selfish interest. So even though the Emperor Parikshit was free from all attachment to worldly possessions, how could he give up his mortal body, which was the shelter for others? We know that you are an expert in the meaning of all subjects, except some portions of the Vedas, and thus you can clearly explain the answers to all the questions we have just put to you. Sutta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born to Parasara in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. Once upon a time, he, Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of the Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate. The great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on the earth in different ages due to the unforeseen force of time. The great sage, who was fully equipped in knowledge, could see through his transcendental vision the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age. He could also see that faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would become impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus he contemplated for the welfare of all men in all statues and orders of life. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupations could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men. The 4 divisions of the original sources of knowledge, the Vedas, were made separately, but the historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in the Puranas are called the 5th Veda. After the Vedas were divided into 4 divisions, Paila Rishi became the professor of the Rig Veda, Jaimini the professor of the Samaveda, and Vaishampayana alone became glorified by the Yajurveda. The Sumantu Muni Angira, who was very devotedly engaged, was entrusted with the Atharva Veda, and my father, Ramaharshana, was entrusted with the Puranas and historical records. All these learned scholars in their turn rendered their entrusted Vedas unto their many disciples, grand disciples, and great-grand disciples, and thus the respective branches of the followers of the Vedas came into being. Thus the great sage Vyasadeva, who is very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so they might be assimilated by less intelligent men. Out of compassion, the great sage thought it wise that this would enable men to achieve the ultimate goal of life. Thus he compiled the great historical narration called the Mahabharata for women, laborers, and friends of the twice-born. O twice-born Brahmins, still his mind was not satisfied. Although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all people. Thus the sage, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect, because he knew the essence of religion, and he said within himself, I have, under strict disciplinary vows, unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas, the spiritual masters, and the altar of sacrifice. I have also abided by the rulings and have shown the import of disciplic succession through the explanation of the Mahabharata, by which even women, Shudras, and others, friends of the twice-born, can see the path of religion. I am feeling incomplete, though I myself am fully equipped with everything required by the Vedas. This may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. As mentioned here, Narada reached the cottage of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas on the banks of the Saraswati, just as Vyas was regretting his defects. At the auspicious arrival of Sri Narada, Sri Vyasadeva got up respectfully and worshipped him, giving him veneration equal to that given to Brahmaji, the creator.
Very nice. I was just reminded a couple of things in here when it says that people surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj. He was such a good king that the enemies will come. It will say, if I surrender, I will be better off than if I fight him. So I surrender, kind of thing. Like, he's so good that doesn't matter. I just surrender. More or less, like it happened nowadays. Many people who surrender to their gurus, they, in one sense, they understand there is something higher to be achieved, and therefore they understand the purity and understand that their benefit. And you see all the people around him, all the people in his kingdom are happy and satisfied, you say, well, he have figured out, I want to be with him, that's why people follow famous people or whatever, because they say, okay, they have what I like to have, so I want to, be there. So that was an interesting thing. I really want to learn a lot more about Parikshit Maharaj, because I think we all need to, at least learn from his style and understand how he kept the people so satisfied. Obviously, we can say it's a different age, and he was pure, and we are not pure, and all that. But at least we can understand the things for which the people were satisfied. Later on, we're going to learn a little bit about that. And there was another thing that I saw here. I was thinking. Now I don't remember. Do you have any comments?
Mm-mm. No.
There was something else in here. I said, oh yeah, this is also very interesting.
My only comment is to let me read the whole thing before you start moving it.
I realized that. Sorry, but you do very well. Even though my hand,
I'm like getting dizzy.
there is a place here that you can, let's see, there is a place that I can give you so you can control it,
Oh,
If you have computer, you can also do it yourself. Are you on the computer or on your phone?
I'm on my iPad.
Oh, iPad. Anyway, we can look later, but I don't see, I think when I have a PowerPoint, you can control it, but I don't think you can control this. And
Oh,
then,
it's okay.
so yeah, I know, I noticed, but I have to move at some point. I never know when, because it's like, okay, wait until there is nothing more to read. Okay, fine.
Yes.
I feel it's going too low, and so I want to bring to your eye level, but okay.
That's fine.
All right. So there was some other things I want to comment here. I forgot, but okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. Not your fault. It's lack of sleep. Okay. Now, instructions of Sivya Sateva. Should we go here a little bit?
Yeah. Chapter 5, Canto 1, verse 1. Sutta Uvacha.
Sorry. Okay.
Atatam Sukham Asina Upasinam Brihatrava Devarshi Prabha Viparshim Vinapani Samayaniva. Translation. Sutta Goswami said, thus the sage amongst the gods, Narada, comfortably seated and apparently smiling, addressed the rishi amongst the Brahmins, Veda Vyas. Purport. Narada was smiling because he well knew the great sage Veda Vyas and the cause of his disappointment. As he will explain gradually, Vyasadev's disappointment was due to insufficiency in presenting the science of devotional service. Narada knew the defect, and it was confirmed by the position of Vyas. Verse 2, addressing Vyasadeva, the son of Parasara, Narada inquired, are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as objects of self-realization? Purport, this was a hint by Narada to Vyasadeva regarding the cause of his despondency. Vyasadeva, as the descendant of Parasara, a greatly powerful sage, had the privilege of having a great parentage which should not have given Vyasadeva cause for despondency. Being a great son of a great father, he should not have identified the self with the body or the mind. Ordinary men with a poor fund of knowledge can identify the body as self or the mind as self, but Vyasadeva should not have done so. One cannot be cheerful by nature unless one is factually seated in self-realization, which is transcendental to the material body and mind.
We need to memorize the last sentence. One cannot be cheerful by nature. It's true, because our real nature is the self, no? And unless one is factually seated in self-realization. Keep looking outside. Stop looking outside, I meant to say.
Yeah, it's so true. The joy, true joy comes from within.
Yep.
Your inquiries were full, and your studies were also well fulfilled. And there is no doubt that you have prepared a great and wonderful work, the Mahabharata, which is full of all kinds of Vedic sequences elaborately explained. Purport. The despondency of Vyasadeva was certainly not due to his lack of sufficient knowledge, because as a student he had fully inquired about the Vedic literatures, as a result of which the Mahabharata is compiled with full explanation of the Vedas. You have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman, as well as the knowledge derived therefrom. Why should you be despondent in spite of all this, thinking that you are undone, my dear Prabhu? Purport. The Vedanta Sutra, or Brahma Sutra, compiled by Sri Vyasadeva, is the full deliberation of the impersonal absolute feature, and it is accepted as the most exalted philosophical exposition in the world. It covers the subject of eternity, and the methods are scholarly. So there cannot be any doubt about the transcendental scholarship of Vyasadeva. So why should he lament? Sri Vyasadeva said, all you have said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I am not pacified. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction, for you are a man of unlimited knowledge due to your being the offspring of one Brahma, who is self-born, without mundane father and mother. Purport. In the material world, everyone is engrossed with the idea of identifying the body or the mind with the self. As such, all knowledge disseminated in the material world is related either with the body or with the mind, and that is the root cause of all despondencies. This is not always detected, even though one may be the greatest erudite scholar in materialistic knowledge. It is good, therefore, to approach a personality like Narada to solve the root cause of all despondencies. Why Narada should be approached is explained below. My lord, everything that is mysterious is known to you because you worship the creator and destroyer of the material world and the maintainer of the spiritual world, the original personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Purport. A person who is 100% engaged in the service of the Lord is the emblem of all knowledge. Such a devotee of the Lord in full perfection of devotional service is also perfect by the qualification of the personality of Godhead. As such, the eightfold perfections of mystic power, Astasiddhi, constitute very little of his godly opulence. A devotee like Narada can act wonderfully by his spiritual perfection, which every individual is trying to attain. Srila Narada is a 100% perfect living being, although not equal to the personality of Godhead. Like the sun, your goodness can travel everywhere in the three worlds, and like the air, you can penetrate the internal region of everyone. As such, you are as good as the all-pervasive supersoul, Please, therefore, find out the deficiency in me, despite my being absorbed in transcendence under disciplinary regulations and vows. Purport: Transcendental realization, pious activities, worshiping the deities, charity, mercifulness, nonviolence, and studying the scriptures under strict disciplinary regulations are always helpful.
It's interesting here that he, all of this we're reading, that he's very aware that there is something else that he's missing, and that he see, Narada, and he glorifies him first, and then he say, you can tell me because I can figure out. It's interesting. We all do that, no? We go to therapy, psychologists, friends. They go to, people telling the future because we want to figure out why we're feeling the way we're feeling. With hopefully something will change. So here, that tendency seems to be natural in the human being, except sometimes we go to the so spiritual advanced to get those advice, But in this case, he was it's very interesting. The cause of his dissatisfaction, very nice.
Sri Narada said, "You have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality of Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless." Purport: The eternal relation of an individual soul with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is constitutionally one of being the eternal servitor of the eternal Master. The Lord has expanded himself as living beings in order to accept loving service from them. And this alone can satisfy both the Lord and the living beings. Such a scholar as Vyasadeva has completed many expansions of the Vedic literature, ending with the Vedanta philosophy, but none of them have been written directly glorifying the personality of Godhead. Dry philosophical speculations, even on the transcendental subject of the Absolute, have very little attraction without directly dealing with the glorification of the Lord. The personality of Godhead is the last word in transcendental realization. The absolute realization as impersonal Brahman or localized supersoul Paramatma is less productive of transcendental bliss than the supreme personal realization of his glories. The compiler of the Vedanta Darshan is Vyasadeva himself, yet he is troubled, although he is the author. So what sort of transcendental bliss can be derived by the readers and listeners of Vedanta, which is not explained directly by Vyasadeva the author? Herein arises the necessity of explaining Vedanta Sutra in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam by the self-same author.
Now I have a question, no? Because he wrote the four Vedas, he wasn't satisfied, and therefore Narada will explain why, and then eventually he will end up writing the Bhagavatam. But I wonder, because for many, many years, the Vedas, the four divisions of the Vedas were studied and were practiced and were like followed strictly. And, even nowadays, somebody like we know had to study 12 years the Vedas. And I wonder why people got that part of the story and not the second part, which would be the Bhagavatam, I guess some people did get one and some people get the other one. That's why we are reading the Bhagavatam right now.
I mean, maybe it wasn't well known because it hadn't been written down yet or something.
No, for sure. For some time it wasn't written down, but the point they got written down, still people follow the Vedas. Still nowadays, we're talking about 5,000 years later, still people follow the Vedas. I mean, try to follow the Vedas. And some of them try to follow the Vedas only partially, which makes it not follow the Vedas. Because in order to follow the Vedas, you have to follow all of them. You cannot follow just whatever you like. You have to follow all of it, and it's very complex.
Are there really that many people following the Vedas, though?
Well, no, like Radhika Raman, who studied this, not me, says nobody really fully follow the Vedas, but in the South India, they are the more orthodox and they're more like trying to follow they say they follow the Vedas, but in reality
so it's just a small subset of people.
Yeah, very small, very tiny.
Very small.
Now, but I wonder when then, you know, like, anyway, so if the, I don't know, I feel like if the teacher gets instructed that this is not it, then the followers should know that he said that this was not it and you should look for something else. Does that make sense? So anyway, that was for later, but obviously some people always need the path of, like, because the Vedas show how to live in this world very comfortably, and how to make rain in the evening and have a good progeny and have a good wife and have all the material facilities and realize God as impersonal Brahman. And so people are attracted to that. We still attracted to that. I'm attracted to that still. We don't want to do the work the Vedas say because it's too hard. Otherwise, we will do it too. So the Bhagavatam is more for, really higher understanding of the self and really wanting to go there, not for people who still want to enjoy the material world. But we get purified in the process, I guess. All right, I don't know if you want, it's 11 already. Should we leave? This is a long one. Should we leave it for tomorrow? You want to read it today?
Yeah, we'll leave it for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's kind of long. All right. Thank you so much for reading all the chapter and also the new chapter. And let's offer our respectful obeisances to all the body Vaishnavas of the Lord. They are like a desire trees, able to fulfill everyone's desires, and they're full of compassion for the conditioned soul. Haribol.
Haribo.
Tomorrow. I hope to be more awake tomorrow.
Okay, I won't. I work the next 4 days.
Oh, wow. You're working a lot this month. Okay.
But then it calms down after.
Okay, good.
So,
all right.
have a good day.
You too. Haribol. Love you.
Haribo. Love you too.
Something